I'm your Green Party candidate for East Midlands Mayor. Thank you all for turning out today, as you do every week and as you have since the start of this genocide. You are absolute heroes. I thank you all. It's been 4 months and 4 days since I presented a motion to my council in North East Derbyshire calling for an immediate ceasefire and the recognition of the Palestinian state. Oxfam calculates that the Israeli military is responsible for killing 250 Palestinians each and every day. And that does not include those who have had their lives stolen by hunger, disease, and cold. At least 31,250 Palestinians have been needlessly slaughtered in the 125 days since I first presented that motion. Since that motion was ignored and not even debated because no other politician in that room would support my calls for peace. It should go without saying that the Green Party and I condemn all forms of violence regardless of the perpetrator, and I again call for an immediate ceasefire, the release of all hostages and political prisoners, and for the delivery of aid for those who so desperately need it. And today I will send out an even stronger message to the establishment as part of my bid to become the first ever mayor of the East Midlands. When I am elected on the 2nd of May with your help, I will use my power and influence to hold our elected representatives to account. I will not let the Tories get away with their purposely divisive rhetoric, and I will not let them be followed into office by Keir Starmer's Labour, who are burying their head in the sand. I will use my leadership role to call for a democratic solution which allows every voice to be heard. A solution in which the West do not use their power to meddle and manipulate, but instead facilitate peace. A solution which is not arbitrary as two warring states, but instead focuses on getting a unified region. Locally, I will ensure that policing in our community is fair, unbiased and democratic. I will not stand by and watch peaceful protests be squashed by authoritarian powers. The attempts of the far right to portray our criticism of the Israeli state's genocide as anti-Semitic are sickening. I will defend the right of everyone in the East Midlands and beyond to speak their minds, as long as they always do with compassion and kindness. I will support the boycott and divestment and sanctions movement and ensure that my spending practices as mayor follow that too. Public money should only ever be spent for the benefit of the community, not to fuel needless suffering. Our region will be a sanctuary for all people. I will reject this hostile government's backward migration laws and call out their divisive and racist rhetoric. People of all backgrounds, faiths and genders are welcome here in Nottingham, in Derby, in Chesterfield and across the East Midlands. That goes without saying. The Tories may only choose to hold out a lifeline for Ukrainians, but it is my belief and that of my party, the Green Party, that vulnerable people of all nationalities should be welcome here in Britain. The puppet occupying Downing Street, whose strings are pulled by the far right, needs to be sent a message. A message that business as usual is no longer acceptable, that turning a blind eye to genocide is against the will of the British people, and that his politics of hate does not represent our country. I want to be proud of my country again. I want our flag to once again become a symbol of hope, compassion and integrity, for our nation to embrace people from the world over and work hard to ensure that each and every one of us can thrive. Lobbying, protest and direct action have failed to convince politicians that change is necessary. It is clear that we cannot convince the wrong people to do the right thing, and we must now come together to replace them in office. It costs £10,000 for me to stand in this election, £5,000 for my name to be on the ballot, and £5,000 to be included in a supposedly democratic booklet. But through pure people power, with donations as small as £1, we have now raised well beyond £10,000, and I am so proud of that. Change is only possible together, and we have certainly shown that. We must use our votes to put positive, progressive and honest people into positions of power, and that is exactly what we will do. If you don't believe me and you don't think your vote counts, just look at what we've done. Last year I was elected as North East Derbyshire's first ever Green in a traditional stronghold for the Conservatives. We made that change happen, and we will do so again this time round. Each and every one of you has the ability to do that. So on the 2nd of May, vote for better, vote for justice, vote for me, and vote for the Green Party. I thank you all once again for your commitment, determination, and generosity to others. You, like the vast majority of people, are remarkable individuals with kind hearts. So please get involved with the campaign, keep doing what you are, and give the East Midlands a strong and passionate voice. In solidarity, now and always. Thank you all so much.
None of them have showed up to our demos. We've had Nadia Whittam come along to some of the Palestine Solidarity Campaign ones, I think 1 or 2. But to have engagement and to be able to talk with your leaders, with your elected officials, is for some reason a privilege in this country. And people seem to forget that we voted you in. You got to talk to us. You've got to engage with us. We should be able to speak to you. And this is not representative of the group, but me personally, I think that the points that Frank has come out with seem fantastic. I really hope he gets voted in. And I just want to raise awareness about the people that could possibly get voted in if he doesn't win. Because we've got someone called Ben Bradley. Who knows who Ben Bradley is? Yeah. He's not a good guy. I can't think of any words that aren't swear words to describe him. But just to let you guys know, Ben Bradley is the person that the Conservatives have put forward for the East Midlands mayoral elections. And back in November, the people of Mansfield were protesting against him because of his stance on Palestine, but also because of his stance across the board. Excuse my language, but he is just a prick. He's an awful, awful guy. According to Ben, free school meals vouchers get used on crack dens and brothels. According to Ben Bradley, the unemployed should get vasectomies so that they can't have children. According to Ben, asylum seekers should be sent to Rwanda. And according to Ben, oh, back at you, mate. And according to Ben, being against genocide makes you a terrorist. Now, do we agree with any of those statements? No. Do we want that guy as our mayor for 4 years? 4 years, people, come on. No, absolutely not. In addition to that, the Labour candidate, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know too much on her, but what I do know is that Labour have completely failed to provide any opposition to the Conservative government we have currently. Labour have repeatedly failed to actually do what they're supposed to be doing and be providing a voice for the people who usually do vote for them. They've refused to condemn this genocide, they've refused to take any action against it, and they've just supported and enabled it. I don't want Labour in charge, I don't want Conservatives in charge, and this election is a chance for us to send a message in the build-up to the general elections. If they don't win this, we can say, look, you've not won the mayoral elections. Do you really think you're going to get your MPs in now too? It's a point of making them scared. It's a point of making them know you are not safe. You're not just going to get our votes because you're not the Conservatives. You guys suck too. And we have alternatives. And that's why I'm very grateful for Frank. So, give him a chair. Now let's give the drummers some beats to do. Do you guys want to lay something down for us so we can get some energy up? Also, Have a think about some speeches. If you want to do a speech, this is an open microphone. Anyone can come up here, okay? Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! From the river to the sea! 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 1, 2, 3, 4! 1, 2, 3, 4! 5, 6, 7, 8! 5, 6, 7, 8! Israel, you can't hide! You're committing genocide! Israel, you can't hide! You're committing genocide! Israel, what do you say? How many kids did you kill today? Israel, what do you say? How many kids did you kill today? Israel, we see you!
But so-called the Palestinian refugees to go back to their cities and villages against the UN resolution number 194. So you please Google it. There is UN resolution goes back to 1949, state that the Palestinian refugees, like my son who just was chanting Free Palestine, should go to their cities and villages in Palestine, but Israel prevent that. So because of that, we converted into stateless. So now, a person like me, I am a surgeon by the way, I'm considered stateless because someone in Tel Aviv prevent me to go back to my country. So now we are 6 million been living in refugee camps in Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, not allowed to go back to our cities and villages because someone there doesn't want us to go back to our cities. So what I'm trying to say is, they suffer the atrocities of against the Palestinian people didn't start in October. It extends for more than 7 decades. The other thing is, after the killing of over than 30,000 civilians in Gaza, Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli Prime Minister, still saying that there will be no Palestinian state. Imagine how genocidal that statement is, to say that a whole nation, we are 16 million people, we have our own land as per the international law. And here I'm not talking from a Palestinian Arab Muslim perspective, I'm talking as per the international law. We have our own lands, and yet someone say that you cannot have your own statement, your own state. So imagine that. So now the main question I want to ask the Israeli Prime Minister, okay, if you don't want the Palestinians to have their own state on their own land, then what do you want to have? Now, currently, the Palestinian in Palestine, about 7 million. So the Palestinians do not have their own state on their own land, then as per the wishes of Benjamin Netanyahu, that for me means that they will be second-class citizens on their own land. And obviously the Palestinians won't agree that, and hence the violence will keep going in circles. So that statement, which is against a Palestinian state, against the right of the Palestinians to go back to their cities and villages, means for me that the Palestinians should be living under occupation, under oppression forever. And that will never happen. Free Palestine. Thank you.
They will puppet any marginalized community into being a shield to cover their imperialism. It is divide and conquer as clear as fucking day. They would try to pit us against each other. When the queer community stands with Palestine, the working class stands with Palestine, and the disabled stands, in my case, sits with Palestine. Everyone with a fucking brain stands with Palestine. Do not let these imposed culture wars divide us as we stand in unity. They would have us believe that this is a war about religion. This is not a war. This is not about religion. This never has been. Time and time again, we have seen the imperialist West try to colonize using a mockery of Christian ideals. We all know Christianity isn't about all of that. We all know this. Is it any surprise to learn that the majority of Zionists are American evangelicals who twist Christianity into supporting their own hatred? Is that... It feels obvious at this point, Jesus Christ. My personal belief is that those in power will never willingly give us the tools to free ourselves. That it's not just as simple to vote in the right person. That's not to discourage you from voting. It's very important to do so. I just think that our action doesn't end in that voting booth. Even if we can't rid the government of its corruption with a ballot paper, we can still destabilize the Tories. We can destabilize Starmer and destabilize all that profit off of this genocide. But our actions do not end there. We need to remember the names, remember where they stood, and remember where they drew the lines. Because those lines in the sand are so much more than that. They are the bombs being dropped on civilians. They are the airstrikes in Yemen, and they are the bullets in a gun targeting a child. While we are forced to participate in this system, in this fucking twisted game, we must play every card we have to their disposal, with the understanding that the real change will come from us and our actions. Every movement is made by billions of people and by billions of hands.
My God Almighty!
Every action you take matters.
Who runs the city? God does.
Cool.
Who runs the city? Jesus does.
Is that cool? Nice. All right. I'm over in a minute, yeah? Some of you might have heard the phrase, from each according to their ability, to each according to their need. There is no shortage of need. The question is, what are you able to do?
Everything!
As I am a Palestinian from north of Gaza, from Jabalia city, just I want to give some information for everyone what is mean Gaza Strip. It's small area. Yeah, small area. Small strip. 33 kilometers and 7 kilometers. When we start the war 7th of October, they starting bombing north of Gaza. Before the war, north of Gaza, include Gaza cities, was more than 1.2 million. And they starting bombing every street, every clinic, every hospital. From north of Gaza, from Indonesia hospitals, in Beit Hanun city, and Kamal Adwan hospital, and Ashifa hospitals. The people, they believe the hospitals and the church and the university and the schools, it is a protection from the law, from European Union, from the Security Council, from UK, from USA. It is a protection place. All of them, they immigrate to these places as hospitals, as 3 church, 1 British church and 1 Greek church, all of them shooting from the IDF. And many genocide, many massacres happening there. As me, my name is Mustafa Wajdi. From north of Gaza, I miss from my family and my relative and my lover. Over 150 people. This is what we know. And another 200, 300, they are missing around under the construction because he doesn't have tools to get them from underground. The message from north of Gaza now, north of Gaza, the people, they dying from the hunger. And the south, they dying from the bombing. I'm so sorry, my voice is gone. So, the message from north of Gaza to you, for everyone, keep support them by like, by subscribe, by the protest everywhere. Don't let them alone. The question is for UK government and from the Security Council, where they will go, the people. The people, the Palestinians, I mean, the people from north of Gaza, they believe the jail is a protection place. They believe Al-Shifa Hospital and another hospital, 5 hospitals, they believe it. There is protection places. They already shot it. They already shot it. And many people dead there. Numbers, the Palestinians, not numbers. Just I want to tell you just one notice. Gaza Strip is 2.3. 99% from them, they all of them educated. Doctors, engineering, lawyer, teachers, all of them. All of them. We are not the numbers. Everyone have names, have a dream, have a CV. Everyone, as a me, my family, all of them educated. Doctors, lawyer, teachers. Everyone have a dream. We are not the numbers. It's over now. 33,000 people dying. The question is, how many people they need from us? How many thousands? I condemn the world why they keep silent until now. Why? Just I want to remind you one thing. Last 5 years, something happening in Europe. I don't want to mention any country, but 5, 6 people they dying in one capital city in Europe. Next day, 128 presidents they came to join the president, and they already condemned for 6 people. And we are now 35,000 people dying and over 80,000 injured. And no any president he condemned that. I want to ask not the human rights. I want to ask the animal. I want to ask the animals' rights looking for us. And thank you.
And I asked, is there anything they want to share with you from Nottingham today? So one of them, the first one, is by a young woman who has lost her home. And this is what she has written for me to read out to you. Imagine in the middle of the night, you receive a call from the Israeli occupation army ordering you and your neighbors to evacuate immediately within 5 minutes, as you cannot leave without your soul if you survive. And if they call and tell you to evacuate, and in other cases while you and your family are sitting at the breakfast table, then a missile hits, an oppressor falls among you. Yesterday, they bombed a tent made of fabric, not a wall of stone. Those who died were listed for travel, but they did not succeed in escaping. Israel sentenced them to death. Tell them, you, about the despicable nature of this army when they stormed my uncle's house to which my family had fled. They executed my 2 uncles and expelled my family from the house. They took my young brothers and beat them brutally and inhumanely. My brothers suffered a broken chest. They were not satisfied with that. They stole everything, personal cards, money and gold. They destroyed the house. Tell them about my room, which burned down as a result of being hit by an incendiary shell that consumed all the memories in it. My bed, which had been with me for more than 25 years, was burned in a second. My closet, which contains my clothes that I love and am proud of, I left everything behind me. I thought I would return. I do not now have summer clothes that I love. And we are now entering the summer season. My desk where I used to read and work, my personal computer, memories of years and my family photo album were all burned in a second. Everything evaporated and melted. There were no traces of anything in the room. I share another story.
No justice! No justice! There you go. Give us a round of applause. All right, let's hand over to our next speaker who has a speech ready.